folks, Tony here with Sunset Overland Adventures. If you're like me, you never have enough space in the back of your Jeep. I have a wife and 3 kids that love to go off-roading with me and never seem to have enough space. So I'm looking at ways to rearrange, organize, get things packed away as tight as I can to make as much space as possible for all those things that everybody wants to take, all those comfort items everyone wants to take off-road. If it's just me, all I need is a sleeping bag and a tarp. But I love the company of family and I like them to go, so I try to accommodate them as much as I can. So what we're going to install today is an overhead Molle panel that fits between the passenger and the driver. So it sits in there just like that, and it'll be up in the roof of the front cab between me and the passenger. It sits in there, and I can go ahead and attach all sorts of things, radios, first aid kits. You can even set a fire extinguisher in the back. There's enough room for that. I already measured it out. So this is going to help a lot with organizing things up in the front of the cab, so I don't have things around my leg, between me and the console, and around my feet, and stuffed under my seat, and all those sorts of places. So this is really going to help with space. The one thing about this is I got this for Christmas. Thank you, honey. And it comes with absolutely no instructions. So now this is really well made. I love it. Everything's nice and tight and sturdy. It's a good piece of metal. So problem is, you got to kind of figure this out on your own. I felt like I should probably do a video on it since this is in my store. So first things first, this thing came with absolutely the minimal hardware, and the hardware that's in it is basically useless. I don't even know what these are. They look like pop rivets or something. Don't even know how to use those. I don't think anybody else does either. And I've got these 2 pretty lame screws in there that they look really cheap. I didn't like it. And then of course zip ties, if you can see that in there. Don't know why those are even in there, and I wouldn't trust mounting a piece of equipment that I don't want to move around with zip ties. So I'm not even sure why that's a thing. Take this, toss it. You don't need it. Go get you some of these. I measured these for the pre-drilled holes in the Molle gear. These are 12 by 3/4 inch self-tapping screws. These fit right through the holes, and we're going to pre-drill some pilot holes there in the front in just a second, and these should snug up and fit perfectly and make sure that panel doesn't move around at all on us. Another thing you're going to need, a way to mark some holes. So I got a little pink Sharpie here, and it always helps to have a little impact wrench to drive those screws in. So let's get started installing our panel. So in the cab up here, I went ahead and took the freedom tops off just to make this a little bit easier, and well, it's impossible to do it with them in there. So this plastic piece here, and this is a JK, so I don't have the mirror with all the sensors and stuff in it, so this is going to make it a little easier for me. If you do have the JL and you have the high-tech mirror, basically this all works the same. You just have to be careful that you don't mess anything up with your mirror. When you pull this panel down, there's lots of wiring up in here that connects to that mirror, and then it's wired through there. I don't have that, but you might have it if you have the JL. Just be mindful that those wires might be in there, and you might need to move them out of the way. So this just pops down. Inside, all you have are these little metal clips that go in here, and so it'll be really easy to replace those. You just pop it down. You're not going to damage them if you're careful. So this comes down, and then right on the edges it'll slide right out. Same thing with over there, and then this is out. So we'll stick this down here out of our way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mark our holes with our panel here, our Molle panel. And this is where we're going to do drill some pilot holes, and then for those mounting screws we're going to put in later on. So once we get the mounting panel in place, we'll have it nice and tight up there. The back just rests up on top of the sound bar, and we'll screw that down later. This right here, we want to get just right so that our freedom panels still fit into our cap hook there, and we'll mark these holes for pilots, and then we'll get those drilled out. Okay, I set my Molle panel up here, held it in place, and then I got my 3 holes marked right here. I'm gonna drill some pilot holes in there, just some thin pilot holes with a small bit. I don't want to have to try and do this twice. It's kind of a one and done thing so that it's nice and tight and it fits snug. I made sure that the Molle panel fits correctly around this hook so that I can easily remove and replace my freedom panels on top. Let's get those holes drilled in there. Also, I should mention that if you don't want metal shavings all over your Jeep, you may lay out a towel or small tarp to make sure that you don't have any metal shavings falling down in your console. So out here I have 5/16 drill drive, and we'll pop these in. Nice and snug. And then we'll do the back. So on the back here, these are just going to go into the plastic part of your sound bar. It's not going to hurt anything that's inside. All the wiring is all the way down in there, so you can drill those in. And these aren't so much for mounting as they are for stability, because the system actually sits on top of this and your roll bar. So this isn't going to go anywhere. This is to keep this from sliding back and forth. Those front mounted screws are nice and snug. That's not going to go anywhere. Once we get these in, this will be complete, and we can go ahead and get our plastic piece back on the top of the roll bar there. Okay, and we're just going to use the same screws that we used for the install on the front. We'll make sure the Molle panel is nice and snug. It's flush where we want it, and we'll just bump this in. It's not going anywhere. Awesome. Everything's popped back into place. Good and solid. I'd say it's installed. Let's hook some cool stuff up to it. Hey folks, so all installed. I've got my Freedom Tops back on these access holes, so you can get to your Freedom Top controls there. And in the back, you can see I've already got my radio attached to it, but the panel allows easy access to grab that and twist it off. And I'm sure as time goes by, I'll figure out how I want to get this thing configured and what all I want to put up there. I threw a little first aid pouch, actually fits on top. That's pretty cool because there's enough space to put some things up there, as well as obviously attach things on the Molle panel. It's high enough to where, and I'm a tall guy, I'm about 6'4". I don't have to worry about whacking my head on it because, you know, when I'm wheeling and we're doing some you know, off-camber stuff, I know I'm not going to hit my head on this because it's up high enough. So I love the black mat. It works with everything else in here. I'm really happy with it. So this was from Camoo, C-A-M-O-O. It's in my Pinterest store. Go check it out. You saw me install it. I think it took me about 15-20 minutes. Thanks for coming and hanging out on the channel with me while I do my install. If you like what you see, like and subscribe, and keep chasing those sunsets.